My name is Sylvia Arredondo. I'm the Development Associate here at Communities for a Better Environment. I grew up, born and raised in Wilmington, California, neighborhood of Los Angeles. My family comes from a longshore background, longshoremen, also have family who are working the refineries that surround Wilmington. Growing up in that environment, seeing what my parents were breathing in and day out when they would, blow their nose, I would see this black soot, and as a kid didn't really understand that. When our parents come home, give them hugs or however that is, and when they're taking off their clothes, that extra layer of clothing that they go to work in, that is that dust that just floats around the house, and that's what we're breathing in. That's what my nieces or nephews, my parents' grandchildren are breathing in on a daily basis. And so I think what hits home is seeing my nieces who are today younger than 3 years old, a 1.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old who both have inhalers. My dad and my mom both take those their clothes off, keep that separate clothes that they go to work in, keep it in the car, and so what happens is now our cars become into this just floating with all this really toxic, dirty, black particulate matter and dust that comes from these refineries and from the ports, and so our family car was no longer a family car. A lot of our health clinics are funded by the refineries. Our schools, our community centers, places where we go for recreation are also bought, or I would say bought off by a lot of these industries. This is our communities feel so thankful when this company, big industry, is going to fund this program or fund the redevelopment of, let's say, the YMCA and add a new pool. I think this is one of the things where our community feels like, well, if they're polluting our community, then they should fund these programs. They should fund a new indoor pool. Back in 2014, there was a pipe rupture underground and from a refinery, and supposedly this pipe hasn't been used, was not an active pipeline, but residents started seeing coming out of the ground this black, heavy, tar-looking like substance, and people thought it was just kind of dirty water. And then as it started spreading and people started smelling, you could smell it, and people started getting really nauseous and feeling really ill and sick, and some people had to evacuate from there because they just weren't feeling well. And so when the refineries started getting word of there was this rupture, there's oil leaking, none of the refineries really took responsibility, but being the good neighbors that they are since they fund all these programs, they came out with gift cards, $100 or so, and letting them know, we're here. There's, if you're going to accept this gift card, we need you to sign this paper, and along with that paper acknowledges that they weren't going to take action against Phillips 66, for whatever their health problems that were to occur. The community members came to the neighborhood council outraged, didn't understand why they were given a gift card and a paper to sign. For me, I was like, what do these big corporations think they can do? Just buy off our community. Here's $100 gift card. That doesn't pay for anything. That doesn't pay for the medical expenses that these families have to, will incur if they're going to the hospitals. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a four-year university, having classes in urban studies or social justice classes, women's studies classes, and reading about Wilmington in a book as a case study caught me off guard, completely off guard, and I didn't want to read about my community in such a negative way. So once I graduated, came back straight into community organizing, and really wanted to have Wilmington, if we are going to be in a book, if our community is going to be a case study on, I would like to see that in how our community was uplifted and became a green community. We were able to shut down a chronic polluter like XI Technologies in the city of Vernon. Our statewide campaign, Charge Ahead California, which aims to put 1 million electric vehicles on California roadways within the next 10 years. And this is bringing equity to our communities, our communities that are most disadvantaged and don't have access to clean energy vehicles. And then we have Clean Up, Green Up. The goal of Clean Up, Green Up is to reduce, revitalize, and prevent new sources of pollution in Wilmington. It's a pilot program that we're bringing to Wilmington, Pacoima, and Boyle Heights, creating green zones for our communities. If you want to get involved, know more about our campaign work, or even donate to CBE, you can visit www.cbecal.org.